For autistic people, getting and keeping a supportive job can be difficult. Data gathered through the Canadian Survey on Disability in 2012 showed the employment rate for autistic adults is 14.3%. That's compared to 92.7% for the general population. Here are some things employers can do to better support their autistic employees. Take autistic people seriously. Autistic people are experts on how to provide accommodations that are right for them. Rather than giving autistic employees incredibly easy tasks, find what's exciting to them and use that energy to meet your shared goals. Understand that they are qualified and capable, even if they need extra support. We can ask for help if we need it, especially if you've created a safe and welcoming workplace for autistic people already. Keep written plans and notes. Together, make periodic plans with SMART goals. SMART is an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Using it can help you stay on track, accomplish your goals at work, and avoid unnecessary confusion. It's also a good idea to take notes from your meetings, whether they are written notes or auditory notes, and put them in a shared folder online. Provide compassionate coaching. Provide more coaching and positive feedback, and understand that things that are sometimes clear to neurotypical folks can be confusing to autistic people. Managers need to practice patience and compassion as their autistic employees adapt to this new workplace. Asking for support, even long past the probationary period, should not be framed as them putting a burden on management or as a personal failing. Create a safe space to share feelings and requests. Ask your autistic employees what their support needs, triggers, and care plans are, and be ready to listen and accommodate them. Because autistic people communicate differently than non-autistic people, managers need to understand that miscommunications will happen, but can be avoided through very clear instructions and feedback. Don't be rude if we stop masking. Adhering to traditional manners and social norms can be hard for us, whether it's regulating our facial emotions, making eye contact, or staying still. These are just a few examples. Many autistic people have been asked what's wrong when they're at work because they're not constantly smiling, or told that their fidgeting makes them seem inattentive. As an employer, expect that your autistic employees will likely have a harder time fitting into your workplace culture and social group than their neurotypical peers. Do not use this as a reason to undervalue them or think that they're not trying. Sometimes, even if we're not masking, we're still having a good time and trying to be good company. You can even tell your employees that it's okay for them to unmask if they're comfortable showing their more natural traits and tendencies at work. Remember that not everybody can drop the mask. For some people, unlearning that conditioning is a lifelong process. Employers should also anticipate blunt behaviors, not regulating your tone of voice, asking a lot of questions during meetings, or making a lot of suggestions for how to move forward on things. It's not meant to be impoliteness, and interpreting it as such is not only unrealistic, but also counterproductive. Offer flexible work hours. Meltdowns, burnouts, and overstimulation can happen at any time. When it does, many autistic folks benefit from sensory deprivation, meaning that they might need to take days off or hours off to take care of themselves. A lot of us need flexible work hours to survive and hold down a job at all. Understand that autistic employees might not be able to take on more shifts. Ask how much time they need and consider paying them for it even if they're not at their desk. Don't guilt or chastise them for needing time and space to recover. Since sensory issues are common for autistic folks, many of us find yelling and anger incredibly jarring. Don't yell and be calm when you give feedback. Some autistic people also have rejection-sensitive dysphoria, also known as RSD, loosely defined as extreme emotional sensitivity and pain in response to rejection or criticism. This is in part because many of us have been nitpicked, bullied, harassed for acting authentically throughout our lives, and because of how some autistic folks experience emotions differently than non-autistic people. Consider providing feedback in the least triggering way possible with this in mind. People with RSD will be appreciative, and your advice is much more likely to be successfully implemented when they're not spiraling. Provide a sensory-friendly environment. If your autistic employees are coming in rather than working from home, it's a good idea to provide as much of a sensory-friendly environment as you can. It's hugely beneficial to have a cool-down room that's private, quiet, and dim. This can help people ground themselves and take short breaks without having to take a more extended time off from work. Consider how loud it is in your workplace. Can you turn down the volume or encourage people to talk quietly? Can you dim the lights? And so on. Once again, asking your autistic employees what they want is a fail-safe method of how to move forward. Say what you mean. This will take practice, considering many neurotypical people have been conditioned to be polite rather than direct. In contrast, many autistic people tend to be direct rather than polite. Instead of expecting us to do all of the adjustment, meet us in the middle by trying to say what you mean. No need to be passive-aggressive or expect them to read between the lines. It likely won't yield the results you want anyways. Allow stimulation tools at work. Is there someone in your office who can only focus if they're wearing noise-canceling headphones? While that could be interpreted as antisocial, many autistic folks need these kinds of tools to keep out overstimulation. If you want them to do well, allow them to use anything they need, whether that's headphones or sunglasses or a fidget toy. Don't make a big deal out of it, and remember that differences are not deficiencies. As an employer, it's your responsibility to make a safe space should you choose to hire autistic employees. Following these tips is a great place to start, but accessibility is a never-ending process of learning, growing, and improving. Doing further research to understand what autism is and how people experience it will always help. To learn more about participating in one of our custom community training workshops, visit our website at autismbc.ca.